Hello everybody. No, I did not decide to trade my beloved '06 Lincoln Town Car for this '03 Toyota Corolla, but I am driving it, at least for the next couple days, maybe 2 to 3, and I do have the keys to prove it. It's right here with the remote. And what ended up happening was that to follow up my last video where I took it to a mechanic, and he tried to replace a driver's side front wheel bearing, and while he was taking it out, he realized that I think he called it the knuckle, or I don't know what the full term is. It actually cracked, so he needs to find a replacement one. Obviously the car's not drivable because he couldn't put the wheel back on, so it's actually stuck on his lift right now. And today being a Sunday, this happened on a Saturday, I am filming just to experience the full power of a Toyota Corolla LE 2003. Now on one side, it's a cruel twist of fate because Toyota Corolla is definitely not a car for me. But at the same time, I'm very thankful that a relative had an extra car to give. And for the next couple days, I will be driving it. So this would be kind of a review of a Lincoln Town Car guy, such as myself, driving 2003 Toyota Corolla. So to start us off, let's look at the key. I'm not sure if this is indeed the actual key, or if it's like a valet, whatever's considered a valet key. I'm not 100% sure. Keep in mind it's an '03. It does have a remote, and the remote fully works. Surprisingly, it only has lock and unlock, and it does not have a trunk release. So, whatever, back in '03, maybe they did not consider that to be of any importance. Let's see if I can focus. So, looking from the outside, so first of all, although it's an '03, so it's 3 years older than my town car, it's actually in a really good shape for the age. It's only got like 68,000 miles, I think. So it's, got like 30 less thousand than mine, although being 3 years older. So just looking at it from the outside, now the headlights, they did lose their transparency. It looks like somebody tried polishing them off at some point. Not sure, or maybe this is the result of their repair, because maybe before they were worse. But all right, it's fine. I haven't driven it at night before, so I don't know. This one being an LE, it does not have rims. It has hubcaps. So I think at that vintage of a Corolla, they had a Corolla S, and I'll be posting it in the, not posting it, but I'll be displaying it to kind of fill in the gaps of what I don't know. Now it does look like there's some rust right there, and I'm not sure if this is the repair or not, but this is kind of similar. In this case, it's rusting right there. My town car started rusting up here, so, and it's actually the same color. It's in a silver color than mine, so it looks like could be a problem. Maybe it's a repair or not. No, not sure. Also, on the outside, some clear coat is starting to fail in the trunk, but nothing major. Just a little bit here and there. In general, I think it's in pretty good shape. All right, let's go down back. So your standard ding scratches. So again, we are talking 17-year-old car. Looks like some rust is starting to form down there as well. Yeah, but in general, I can't see too much stuff. Okay, here's a little clear coat fail as well. All right, well, let's look on the inside. So I do have remote, which by the way does work. Click once for the drivers, click twice for both, or for all doors. So this one being an LE, so this is where it kind of starts becoming interesting. So this is a LE, so it's like the mid-range. I guess maybe considered luxury edition for LE, but it's got this wood panel, and it's got some more wood on the inside. And this is kind of hilarious because, yeah, Lincoln Town Car has fake wood. But man, this is some crazy fake wood. Like, this is a shade of wood that doesn't even exist in the real world. And it's only in the middle. So, not quite sure. But anyway, considering that this is an LE, I think it was a mid-range model. If it's anything different, I'll be displaying it. You got power windows, locks, mirrors, the little wood panel. I think it's got the soft carpeting kind of material right here. I think on the very base model it didn't exist. This is soft. The upper portion is soft, and this portion is soft, but everything else is plastic, and including the inside. And this is kind of interesting too. These gauges. Now, these gauges are like kind of turquoise, bluish, greenish color, but the rest of the interior is, you know, different shades of gray. I know I keep making fun of, you know, 50 Shades of Gray. So I don't understand why did they go with this. And from what I remember, the S had a white gauges. So why did they decide that this was more luxurious, this color? I mean, they could have just made them white. But right here, got some controls, got enough place to put probably 4 quarters. I'm not sure what this blank switch is all about. But this is kind of interesting, this switch. So this car does have a dome light right up here. But the only way to turn it on and off is with this switch right here. So here it is on, and it's on. But there's nothing else where, like, you can't press it. There's no switch anywhere. So the driver is the only one who controls the only dome switch in this whole car. Makes no sense. It's got these little support lights right here, and they do work, but on both sides. But once again, even these don't turn on, and there's no sunroof here. Now it is quite hot, so in a couple minutes I will turn it on. This is one of those rare occasions where I do have keys, but you know, just by looking at it, it's basic, yes, but it all works. The only thing that doesn't work in this interior is this clock. So this clock burned out. You know, I tried pressing these buttons, I tried holding them, so this burned out. Everything else works. AC works, radio works, CD works, everything does. All the windows go up and down, cruise control, everything. So for a car as old as this, it's great. Let's look at the back. So I did have my child seat transplanted from the town car to this, because I do need to use it for Monday and Tuesday. And you know, when I was back here, I was like, look how nice and clean it is for a, what is it? I keep saying 17-year-old car. Yeah, it's got a few stains on it, but it's nothing. Oh, the rails are nice. This is, I think these are original floor mats. You know, you got this little fake wood right here too. You know, it's not bad. Look at the interior. It's gray. They have this seat cover, but underneath it, seats are spotless. It's got this very strange cup holder, which I think because, you know, if they had any kids, they, you know, these would be broken off. No armrest, unfortunate. So that's kind of the back. Let's look at the trunk. There's no trunk release here, so you do need to use a key, which leads me to believe that this is not a valet key, that this is actually a key. So that's how these keys were back there. So once again, they have some stuff in there. It's not mine. I don't know what it is. I don't want to go through it, but the trunk is decent. You know, you got some, I think one of the panels is missing to replace the rear taillights, but look how easy it is to get to. It's nothing compared to the town car, where you have to actually take off this whole backing. You know, they have like a little window, and for whatever reason it's missing here, but look how easy it is to get to it. And also look, instead of doing like the pull rope like on a town car, they have a nice glow-in-the-dark lever to escape, and they don't have anybody painted escaping. They just have an arrow. And look, they have carpeting back here too. It's super light, this trunk. All right. So let's look at the engine. Before we do this, okay, I just shot my mouth off and said that the seat rails are not rusted. No, they are up front. So I'm not sure why it's rusted here, because this bolt does not actually go through. I'm actually sticking my hand underneath the car, and I don't feel that bolt on the other side. On a town car, it goes straight through the floor. So, and that one is, you know, halfway there. So why is this rusted? That one is a little less, and there's no rust in the back. Not quite sure. But as far as I know, this car never had any water damage, or like water never came inside. Look, factory floor mats over this heavy-duty rubber ones. You know, it's a manual seat. It adjusts. Height-wise, it does adjust. So it's not a luxury piece. All right, got a nice little cubby here. Let's see. Let me pull on the hood release. I'm guessing I would have to pause and lift it because there is a hood prop. Or nah, you know what? It's fine. Let me just do it this way. So, honestly, I don't know what kind of engine this is. I will be displaying it. I want to say it's a 1.8, but I could be wrong. I know this is a 2003. That's about all I know. And looks like, oh look, it's a nice space right here. Doesn't look like anything is leaking, but keep in mind I'm not a mechanic, and yes, there is a hood prop right there. Looks like, I mean, yeah, it's dirty, but keep in mind the age of the car. It's got all your lines for the windshield washer. It's got some rust right here, but nothing really, nothing too bad, really. Like nothing to write home about, just a very average Japanese stuff from that era. You know what? I need to look on the door as far as what age it is. But I think these are actually made in Japan. I could be wrong, but I think they were like actually made in Japan. And this hood is surprisingly heavy, actually. Let's see, where is the sticker? Manufactured by Toyota Motor Corporation. Yep, so it's November of 2002, which would make this a 2013. And look, made in Japan. I was right. So maybe this is why this car still exists and not in a salvage yard. Well, and the fact that the gas, not the gas, the mileage on this thing is quite low. So check this out. So it's got a wheel lock. So I need to turn. There you go. So check this out first and foremost. So this is how many miles I already drove as of the filming of this video. 68,595 miles. I mean, on a 17-year-old car, you can't beat that. I don't know if it's the lowest mileage Corolla in this age, but in any case, it's real nice. So it's got a few flaws. Number one, it's got a check engine light right there. I was made aware of that, and from what I was told, that it has to do with like exhausts not burning off completely. But to fix it, I was told it was going to be like about $800. So the owner just decided, you know, they're going to keep driving it until the next emission test, which in Illinois I think you have to do every 4 years. I could be off on that. So it passed the last time emission test, and then since then this check engine light, so they probably have another couple years, and who knows what they're going to do with this car. So look, it does have an outside temperature of 91 degrees right now. It's nice and quiet. It idles quietly. It does have this nice cruise control that Toyota has been putting in cars for years, and I think they still do it in some cars, not all of them, but some, because I keep seeing this, especially on their trucks. I don't know what's up with this little perforation. Are they trying to think that it's sporty or whatever? And then on the Toyota, it's got like a gear. That's just weird. But hey, why not? Why not? No leather, just normal material, whatever this material is made out of. So this is interesting, you know. So it does have just a radio, right? What's up with this giant panel? Like, was this used to be for the cassette, like in the older models, or maybe you had to upgrade? You could have upgraded to the one with a cassette. I don't know, but it's got like a big blank space with some letters and numbers on there. I don't know, what does that mean? And also another thing, so it's got a CD, everything still works. When I ejected this CD, I found out this is my handwriting. I gave this person this CD probably 10 plus years ago. It's in Russian, it's just some Russian music, but so those of you who can read Russian, you know what it is. And when I took it out, I'm like, oh my God, this is my CD from, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. And it still works, it's still in their car. I mean, who knows if they're listening to it, but you know, okay, we're not gonna be playing any Russian music here. But anyway, I like how they integrated these secondary controls. You know, they didn't have like a lot of extra buttons here. You know, you want to fast forward, you just push this button and it fast forwards. You want to repeat, you do it. You want to do a random, you do it. And so they don't need separate controls. There's a separate seek and track, but other than that, all the other ones are incorporated into the same controls, which makes it a lot easier and less buttons, probably cheaper to manufacture. So, like I said, AC works, nice and cold. Rear defrost still works, nice and cold. So this is the only thing that's broken. Is this alarm clock style clock died, must have burned out. Oh well. Going back to this wood thing, so it's got these storage things, and it's reminding you that this is not an ashtray. This doesn't remind you that it's not an ashtray, so maybe you can use it as an ashtray. Got a 12 volt here, just your standard shifter with overdrive, and this thing illuminates when you deactivate it. All right, so similar to like on a town car button. Emergency brake. Okay, water bottle, that's not mine. Some storage stuff. There's another 12 volt in there, and there's another little cubby right here. Glove box. Pretty basic stuff. Yeah, so in general, I would say this interior is in very good shape, and God bless Toyota for not making this thing beep, because ultimately that's what drives me nuts on my car, my town car. I have that airbag light, which as of the filming of this video, it's still not fixed, but it will be sooner or later, and I'm gonna try to go on a little test drive. So when driving this car, it doesn't beep, because why would it? You know it, you see it, it's right there in the dash. So when this thing drives, it drives fine. I took it out on the highway when I first picked it up, and I got it up to about 85 miles an hour. And compared to that Toyota Prius that I took to Michigan for work, transmission and engine in this car, it didn't squeal. It didn't make noises like it was about to blow up. It just simply drove. Yes, it was a little louder than usual, but it's fine. Like driving it, you wouldn't tell that it's a 17-year-old car. This car also has what I think is probably the most honest speedometer. It only goes up to 110, and like I said, I took it out to about 85. I think I could have squeezed another 20 miles or so per hour out of that thing. So I think the speedometer is much more honest and efficient as far as telling you how fast this car could potentially go, and not one of those that tell you, you know, up to 180 and it can only barely break 100. So another interesting fact about this car, so on comparing it to a town car, so when I press the cruise control button right here, it illuminates cruise right away, right there, green. But then when I set it, it doesn't do anything else. Like it doesn't say set, it doesn't say much else. But on a town car, when you press on a cruise control, nothing happens. And only when you engage it, you get the little display there in the lower right. So this is an interesting philosophy, how different manufacturers do it. So there you go. Driving it, drives fine. Obviously the ride is not as luxurious as, would say, you know, a town car would. But as a economy car, which I think at the time, this was the car. I don't remember what year Yaris came out. Once again, I'm going to be displaying stuff if what I'm saying is incorrect. But this is, as an entry-level car, slightly above the very basic one, where you wouldn't get the power windows and whatever those little wood pieces are. Yeah, that's as an economy car, fine. Totally fine. Or I guess as a compact car is probably. And I'm amazed that the AC works. Like when I first got in there, I did not expect that. But it works. For 68,000 miles, it's not bad. If it was me, I would extend this wood to this panel as well, so it kind of falls in line. But for whatever reason, they decided to go with this extremely fake color wood. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't just pick a more realistic grain. Yeah, just like this. It accelerates, obviously, slowly, but I'm not expecting anything else out of it. Yeah, and then when you brake, it brakes okay. There's a little bit of a clicking noise that does come out from the rear. I think maybe the rear rotors might need to be resurfaced or something like that. But there's a little clicking that happens. Probably the camera just can't pick it up on the inside, but I do hear it. But in general, just see, absorbs bumps okay, accelerates decent. I think this is in line what a town car would drive, just minus obviously the weight, the size, the hood ornament, the whole experience. But in general, like, this is not terrible. What is terrible in my mind is the leg space. No, I know my legs are not the best looking ones in the world, but this is with the seat all the way back, and I am bent. My knees, I cannot stretch in this car, and I'm 5'11", so if I was an owner of this car, I think that would drive me nuts. As a temporary driver, I think I'm okay. Just I have to realize and be very thankful that I got this car, because otherwise I would have had to rent it, spend additional money. And I think when I was pricing a rental, it would have been like $57 a day. So to me, that would have been at least additional $200. So very thankful for the save by a relative. Yeah, so this is kind of like, it does have a nice dead pedal, which I am using right now, but I wish it had more leg space, especially with the extension of the seat all the way back. All right, so this is kind of my review of a 2003 Toyota Corolla that I actually got the keys. Over the last few months, I drove several cars. I did also, when I was actually fixing the rust on my car, this was back in February, so I wasn't making YouTube videos. I did drive a Nissan Versa as a rental car, so that was a pretty interesting thing, but I didn't film it. So this is kind of my replacement for a couple days, and I will definitely keep you posted, and thank you all so much. So I pulled into this parking lot just to turn around and go home, but come on, look what I found. It's a Dodge Ramcharger. This was like a competitor to Ford Bronco at the time, and the Chevy Blazer at the time. Look at this thing. This thing is amazing. Now, it had a very rough life. Look, it was like polished, like the paint was polished and sanded off of it. I don't see any new paint on it, but holy moly. This car, or this truck, this is a real truck right there. Look at this. Now, I'm just at a parking lot, so I don't know if the owner is going to come and yell at me for filming this, but if somebody was filming my car, I would be excited. Wow. Look at all the rust, but it's still on the road, and it's a Dodge. I mean, Dodge and Chryslers are not known for having a very high-end, cars that last a long time. Look, it's got those quarter windows, very nice. The interior just got some weird crap in there, but look at this. Wow. So there you go. This proves that filming YouTube videos is very addicting. Once you kind of start, you can't stop. And it looks like it did have a hood ornament that it lost along the way. I wonder what happened to the paint. Like, there's no way that somebody just sandblasted it off and just forgot to paint it. Or maybe it all came off just because. See, it's all peeling right there. It's very coarse. It's not smooth at all. And obviously, if you take all the paint off of the car, or any car, it's going to be a disaster. So you got some holes on the bottom. So anyway, I know this is a bonus. Didn't expect to find that. I wish I could drive this thing. I think if the owner comes out and I'm nice enough, they're like, hey, can I just jump in and drive it? you can drive this Corolla. So anyway, enjoy, guys. Sign up, subscribe. If not for this Corolla, not for the town car, do it for the Charger. Thank you. Why car manufacturers do this? On the driver's side, all right, you got a mirror with a cover, and they even put a little bumpers right there so it doesn't slam. Here, nothing. You don't get a cover. You don't get bumpers. You don't have anything. You do have a mirror, so that's good. Do manufacturers just think that this lid, putting a lid like this over there, will bankrupt them? Or like if you need a lid here not to blind the driver, you don't need a lid here to not blind the passenger? I don't know.